Entertalk Radio, you're in to all things music.
Make reviewing your company as easy as possible, but do not ever, 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 ever pay someone to review anything. It will come back to bite you in the butt. You will be worse as if you absolutely did nothing. It'd be worse if you took that money and just lit it on fire in front of your face.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Happy Friday, everybody. We're back. It is May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am Scott, your host, a man who may or may not still believe in the Easter Bunny. And with me is our master of the ones and twos, working on the ones and twos down in Entertalk Radio Central in San Diego, Paul B. How's it going today, Paul?
Wait. What are you talking about? But still believe in the Easter Bunny? Why? What's wrong with the Easter Bunny? Is this an issue?
What? It's just a big, gigantic bunny that walks around giving out candy. I mean,
yeah,
it's harmless.
Of course.
You ever you're like, you see him, right?
I see him.
Just go
see
like
him all the time. I'm like Donnie Darko.
It'd be so awesome to like show up like and just mess with people and just go, you see him, right? You see the big bunny?
That's a very easy way to land in the psychiatric institution.
Exactly.
My friends wouldn't hesitate.
They'd be like, you don't see the big bunny anymore, do you? Not with this clozapine going through your bloodstream.
Nope.
That's a good thing about watching Legion. You can get up on the latest psychotropic drugs that they... are you enjoying Legion, by the way?
That show is so good. So
show
good.
Is freaky.
I'm glad you turned me on to it.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it, but it is a absolute... I've never seen anything like it before.
I love it. It's like as if
twisted.
Wes Anderson, Stan Lee, and Carl Jung like sat around doing acid and writing a script for a TV show. That's it.
I like that review. I could see it. Well, cool. Well, let's get into marketing. If you guys have a question for me, you can always email me at scott@robertsoncom.com. I run a public relations firm called Robertson Com, and I'll be happy to answer anything right on the show. There you can also find my posts, a lot of my client news clips, other interesting stuff to keep you interested and entertained and educated about marketing. You can find that stuff at the Robertson.com Facebook page, which is at no surprise, facebook.com/RobertsonCom, 2 M's, or on Twitter at, Robertson.com. That's right. And reach out and connect. Hopefully I can, like I said, keep you entertained. This is episode 47 of The Big Show. Which is pretty wild, the fact that we've done that many. So yay for that, I guess. But on this show, we dig into marketing and every, everything that affects marketing. So it affects business quite a bit. We talk about the music industry, quite a bit. A lot of my clients fall into the music and technology sides of things. I like this episode I call Really Dumb Stuff. And I'm going to focus on three things. It's out there, and as we kind of try to journey all on the right side of the line, kind of the light side of the force, we can really clearly see the other side, the dark side. It's like in full view, and I'm talking about the really, really dumb things like retargeting, advertising, telemarketing, paying for reviews, and I just don't think that. And this stuff is in use. It's in use, right now by people who claim to know something about marketing. And so I'm going to use this show to really talk about those three things, which I think are three of the dumbest things that you can do for your brand. And I'm going to explain why. And I understand, one man's opinion and all that, but I think you'll may think if you engage in some of those behaviors. I mean, first of all, just stopping and thinking about those behaviors might be a good first step, but certainly you should consider the side that I'm going to present today about why those things are, dumb. And that's what we're going to do today. We're also going to dig into, who's winning and losing in marketing. And I got a full batch of stuff for that part of the show. I did have somebody write in this week and said, do you take submissions from outside, so from folks about what to include on winning and losing? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Send me if you find something weird or, that's particularly great or particularly dumb out there, send it to me. I'll be happy to, talk about it. It'd be fun. So hopefully we'll have a little bit of fun talking about this stuff. And again, if any of these things show up in your marketing mix, you're going to want to rethink that. So we're going to focus on what I call the dumb stuff. And believe me, this could be a longer list, but it's not that long of a segment. So we're going to talk about retargeting. We're going to talk about paid reviews. I'm seeing a lot of stuff on paid reviews right now, and no. And we're also going to talk about telemarketing and just how bad telemarketing has gotten. I think that's important. So without further ado, we'll do them in order. Let's talk about retargeting. First of all, definitions. The long form of it, it's called behavioral retargeting. Also can be known as behavioral remarketing or just retargeting. It's a form of online targeted advertising by which online advertising is targeted to consumers based on their previous internet actions, which sounds very benign. That sounds like, okay, that sounds like something you'd want to be informed about. Here's why it was invented by Satan himself. Basically, you have made the decision to have your ads to sort of creepily dig cookies into people's, or read the cookies off people's browser history, and we're going to talk a bit about internet privacy in the winning and losing section. But, aside from that, which makes you creepy, you're going to use that information to send people advertising until they finally, their knees just buckle under the pressure and they buy from you, right? You've all seen it. You've seen it happen. You go, there's a pair of athletic shoes, you say, oh, I really like these shoes. It's pretty cool. I'm not really going to buy those right now. I'll watch to see if they go on sale. Everybody has their reasons for why they're not going to pull the trigger and buy. Maybe you're just browsing or whatever. But then something interesting happens. The next website you go to, there's an ad for the athletic shoes. And then you go to another website and there is another ad for the same damn shoes. And then you go to another website and man, son of a gun, if it's not the same, ad for the same shoes following you around. And what the folks on the platform will tell you is that people become more likely to buy the more time that you serve. If you serve the message up to people more and more and more, they're much more likely to buy. And there is data to support that. But let's bring it into the real world. I think sometimes if you take your cyber behavior and you act like what it would look like in the real world, you can see how incredibly stupid it really is. Okay, so let's say I go to, I go into a clothing store. Let's keep in the clothing thing, and I'm looking at a shirt. But I get a phone call or something distracts me, and I leave the store. Then a guy, holding a sign with a picture of that shirt follows me around in the mall. And whatever store I go to, he's like, hey, don't forget about the shirt. Hey, you didn't forget about the shirt, did you? Hey, check out this shirt. Oh, it's a great shirt. Look at the shirt. And then one of two things happen. You either punch that person in the face, or you have them arrested, or you run. You run away. There is no positive outcome from stalking people. There is no positive outcome for your brand. And I know all the digital marketers out there that are listening and say, well, we've got data that supports and we've got an Excel spreadsheet that shows the sales. You are pissing off the world in your wake. You are doing the worst possible thing that you can do. If marketing isn't bad enough, remarketing is completely created by Satan. Okay? Stop it. With a capital every letter. This should not be a marketing strategy. This should not be a tactic. If it is on your marketing mix, call me. You need professional help. This is awful. I don't like retargeting, remarketing. And let me explain to you why. Because marketing is, you're in the relationship business. You know, people will buy when they're ready to buy. When you have made a strong enough case and when in a situation in their lives links up and the planets align to when they can buy, but that's up to them, right? You forcing the issue and showing up with a sign every few minutes that says buy this does not help you. It does not help you. So you have to make a decision. And this is really, everything I'm talking about in the dumb stuff comes under the decision that you make when you start your business. What kind of organization are we going to be? Are we going to be an organization that is comfortable bugging the crap out of people? You know, are we comfortable with that? Are we going to be comfortable? Are we going to be the kind of organization that is so desperate and needy for sales that we have to bug? You know, when's the last Apple is the least desperate brand on the planet. Also, the most successful and largest corporation in the history of planet Earth. So, did everybody get the connection right there, by the way? The less needy and desperate the brand is, the more successful the company is. Everybody on that page now? So, it's like, and the opposite is true. That's why I don't understand these things like retargeting, because it doesn't showcase your brand in a positive light. Even if you get the sale, is the sale worth it? Is the sale worth denigrating your brand like that? Have some respect for your brand. Have some respect for the audience. Have some respect, for the marketing process. And all you digital marketers out there, stop it. And by the way, the government's going to make you stop it before I do, because they're coming for you. Oh, yeah. You taking that private browser history and using it for marketing purposes, oh, they're coming for you. Absolutely. It's only going to take a few more, consumer complaints. And in the next year, you're going to see what does the government do better than anything else? It writes rules about things it has no idea what the hell it's talking about, right? And get ready, because the rules are coming. They already have rules and disclosures about what you can do in terms of blogging and everything else. But the rules on retargeting are coming like a train. None of this stuff should have been allowed in the first place. And if anybody had a brain in their head and was thinking, they would not ever do stuff like that. Don't you ever, under any circumstances, engage in a strategy like that. It is the absolute worst. Does not showcase you well. Number 2, paid reviews. This week in Facebook, I saw on my own Facebook feed, I saw so many sponsored posts saying, improve your profile online, manage your online reputation, pay us and we'll have people write reviews for your brand. No. Right? No. Why no? I mean, I don't know if we need to even say it, but reviews get their strength from what? They get their strength from their objectivity, their authenticity, the fact that they are quote unquote real people really reviewing stuff, and then those things are trusted. The trust is passed on to the degree in which these are believed. The more paid reviews are on the sites, then it's just a bunch of words and a big pile of bull crap, all over your site. I mean, again, what kind of organization do you want to be, right? If you're the kind of organization that has to pay for reviews, you probably shouldn't be in business. You probably should seriously look at the service offering and the product offering that you got going on and say, maybe we're awful, and maybe we need to put all of our, paid reviews time into figuring out how to be less awful, how to be better. That's what I would do. If I'm your marketing counselor at this point, I say, look, if we can't get positive reviews just because we're good, then we should look at how we can be good. We should try to be good. What can we do? And it's a journey. It's absolutely a journey. So don't fall for all these things on the internet that they can improve your reputation, that can push bad reviews down. No. You can't hide things like that. You can't, anytime somebody gives you a bad review, they're telling you something. They're telling you something that, and as a business owner, as a person in the marketing department, you need to be paying attention to that. You don't want to push that down. You want to resolve that. You want to win that person over. You're in the relationship business. If you got a bad review and a bad relationship, you want to fix that relationship. Now, some people just can't be helped or whatever, but you can at least try. You can at least try. You can at least post your side of the story too. Very, very important. You want to reach out to those negative reviewers. You want to embrace that kind of stuff. That is public relations. That is actually caring about your relationships. That is defending your brand in the right way. And then just make reviewing your company as easy as possible. But do not ever, 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 ever pay someone to review anything. It will come back to bite you in the butt. It will. You will be worse as if you absolutely did nothing. It'd be worse if you took that money and just lit it on fire in front of your face, because there's a boomerang downside to paid reviews that you don't want to be anywhere near. And again, remember we talked to government in the first one here. Well, the government's looking at paid reviews too, kids. And you know what? What do they do better than anybody else? That's right. They show up and they drop a bunch of rules on everybody because a couple of people don't have any sense in their heads about what they're doing. Stop it. Number 3, telemarketing. Good God, should this have stopped a long time ago? I had to buy an app last week called Nomo Robo, which I highly endorse, by the way. It sends all these robocalls and telemarketing calls straight where they belong, voicemail. The only thing that I think is bad about it is I wish it would ping their phone back about, like, it would call them every 10 to 15 seconds. And it would just, I wish I could set it up on a loop that way, so that there's a little bit of, vengeance happening there. But if your business should not be telemarketing. No one wants your call. No one wants your call. It's not like they're like, oh, I was meaning to call you. It's like, no, they don't want to hear from you. And when you force yourself to, push your message in there, you do what I like to call putting your needs in front of the customer. And that's also a long way of saying you're going out of business slowly. We're in the relationship business. We don't annoy people. We don't, do things that people don't want. We try to attract people in by doing a lot of things that people do want, right? If telemarketing is in your marketing mix, you need to have a strong conversation about what kind of organization you are, what kind of brand you're putting forth, and you need to stop it. You need to absolutely get that out of there as soon as you can. I can give you 15 things that beat telemarketing in terms of results. You absolutely don't want to be doing that stuff. You don't want to be doing any of this stuff. And why don't you want to be doing it? Because it's really dumb stuff. And that's what we're talking about today on May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Radio. Come on back. We're going to talk about who's winning and who's a losing. See ya.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Entertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, happy Friday. You are back here in segment 2 of May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. We're talking about dumb stuff today. We're hanging out with Paul. We're getting ready to talk about who's winning and losing. Paul, how's life?
Pretty good. I haven't gotten any telemarketer calls today, so it's a good day so far.
Hey, you should seriously look at that Nomo Robo app. It's $1.99 a month. It's a service, but it basically looks at the reason it's a service and not just an app is, telemarketers are always changing their route, their PBX dialing systems and that kind of stuff. So it's a constantly updated list of telemarketing numbers that's sent out with updates to the app, so that no matter what PBX they're sending it from or whatever, it's already been flagged as a telemarketing call and it goes straight to voicemail.
Nice.
And it flags up and it has this like little red thing, like, you don't want this and that kind of thing. It's been great ever since I installed it on my phone. I've because I answer my mobile phone for my business, and when I know it's all going to be robocalls, and a lot of the calls are going to be robocalls, I don't have to be interrupted by all those anymore. It's been it's a great $1.99 a month if you're getting a lot of robocalls. For people that want to put solar panels on your house. I always find that fascinating, given the fact that I already have solar panels on my house and they're on the outside of my house, which you would know.
Well, you bought solar panels, so that means you're probably interested in solar panels, so we should call you about buying solar panels.
Exactly.
Ironclad logic right there.
Exactly. They go, Mr. Robertson, are you interested in solar panels? I'm like, do you have Google Earth? And I'm like, yeah. I said, can I give you my address? I said, what do you see?
Solar panels.
Solar panels. I'm like, are we done here? Are we done?
Well,
anyway.
Will you just give me money? Just give me money. I'm not really interested in giving you solar panels. I'm interested in taking your money. We could skip the whole solar panel thing.
Now we're past that part, yeah. Well, anyway, speaking of that, let's talk about who's winning and losing this week. So, broadband providers will not have to get your permission anymore before sharing your web browsing history and your other personal data with marketers, thanks to a vote today on Capitol Hill. This is kind of interesting. A lot of people were up in arms about this, saying, "Oh, broadband providers, shouldn't have the access to this information and shouldn't be sharing it with marketers and that kind of stuff." It's like just taking a step into the real world. That's been happening for a long period of time, and there's nothing that Capitol Hill is so incredibly behind the times when it comes to, I would fully expect them to still be like dialing up on AOL at 56K and just going, and here comes the sound. You've got mail, Senator. It's like, you old folks don't know jack about technology. You're never going to catch up with the people that are at the bleeding edge of it. And that's what's hysterical to me about the fact that, they're like, oh, Capitol Hill voted and they did this. It's like, they were doing it anyway. It matters so little. I can't even begin to tell you. So I'm going to put that in, I don't know, losing, but it's not that big a deal when you consider the fact that it really was going on this whole time, and the fact that it's not like the floodgates were open and then internet providers were like, oh, Capitol Hill says we can do so. It's like they don't care either way. Either way, they wouldn't have cared. So let's talk about Major League Soccer, MLS. So they're trying to bring, San Diego is trying to bring a Major League Soccer team to the city. And they are looking for a unlikely name for the squad. And basically the the name that's leading the way, of course, when you ask the internet to name things, what are you going to get? We've covered this on the show before. And leading with 7,678 votes so far is Footy McFootyface. The second one is the San Diego Surf, and then the San Diego Bad Hombres. Okay. But Footy McFootyface might be the actual name for the Major League Soccer team for San Diego. Oh, marketers. Why would you ask the internet? Why would you ask people to name something that you're going to have to work at and be like a part of? I mean, everybody just needs to. It should be a rule from now on, especially if you listen to this show. And how many times we've talked about Bodie McBoatface and McDonald's, naming its hamburger. The internet cannot be trusted to name things for your company. They simply cannot be trusted. So you cannot put that trust in them. You can't you can't initiate the conversation that goes like this. Well, we'll name it whatever the internet says. Now you're in trouble. Now you got a big problem on your hands. Yeah, and the PR department's going, Footy McFootyface? Seriously? We're gonna, and they're gonna have to explain this. They're gonna have to explain it. And then all the people who voted for that as a joke are gonna, the joke's gonna be on them when they have to name this team Footy McFootyface, and it's a big plague in the league. Although it would be hysterical to hear the local sports reporters in San Diego do that with a straight face and be like, that's the team name, baby. We lost the Chargers, but we got Footy McFootyface coming sliding right into the open slot there into your hearts. Anyway, so we're going to put that in losing. Don't let the internet name your stuff ever. Thank you. Wells Fargo was ordered to pay $110 million to settle its lawsuits about the fake accounts. They agreed. They basically settled the class action lawsuit where they had up to 2 million accounts and its employees open for customers without getting their permission. It's the first private settlement that Wells has reached since the company they had to pay $185 million to federal and California authorities late last year, just for doing bad stuff. What can you say? An interesting one with Wells Fargo to see how they, terrible scandal, rocks the company to the core. It's culture-based. It's leadership-based. They fire the CEO. You got all kinds of you got nothing but just brand problems, everywhere. And now you have to pay $110 million to, settle the fake account suits. And I guess there's some people out there that are, getting some money back from Wells Fargo. And well, they should if they were getting charged fees for, false accounts and those kind of things. But we're definitely going to put it in losing. It's never a story that, Wells Fargo wants to see the swift end of this story, but it doesn't swiftly end until they can swiftly stop being stupid. Here's an interesting one. In North Carolina, a jewelry store is facing backlash over a billboard, which basically it says sometimes it's okay to throw rocks at girls, and then it has the rocks, of course, are diamonds. It's Spicer Green Jewelers, and it's basically a white billboard with a bunch of different multicolored diamonds, and says sometimes it's okay to throw rocks at girls, and of course, one woman wrote on Twitter, is this supposed to be humorous because you think violence against women is funny? And then people are just like, and the store had to apologize for the ad and all these kind of things. Here's the apology. To whom we have offended with our recent billboard, please accept our apologies. We do not condone violence of any kind towards any being, except for telemarketers. And it says that in parentheses right here. We are humble enough to realize when we make a mistake and humble enough to realize the context in which we are speaking. Magical. We did not intend to cause controversy, and our billboard communicated something we did not intend. We intended the billboard as a play on words to encourage the loving act of gift giving, and are deeply sad that it offended anyone. Oh man, I got to say. Not everyone saw a problem with the billboard. Many fans of the jeweler shared their support for it on Facebook. Yeah, I got asked a couple times on Facebook, what do you think? Here's what I think. I think, I don't think you're deeply saddened by it, first of all. So don't use deeply saddened is we had a fire, there was a loss of life. We're deeply saddened now. If somebody is offended by the billboard because they got upset or whatever, it's like, we're sorry. We're almost sorry. But by the same token, it's advertising and it is trying to, get a reaction. Sometimes it's okay to throw rocks at girls. Diamonds as a synonym for rocks. I mean, I've kind of thought, I go back and forth on this one. It's not egregious to me, honestly. I think it's fairly clever. And honestly, if you're doing a billboard for a jewelry company, you might, the well might be running dry on how you're going to talk about that stuff. So, I give them, applause for that. To me, here's a good rule of thumb. If it offends 10% of the audience, it's appropriate to make a statement. If it offends one or two people, then everything's going to offend one or two people, So I use the 10% rule. If 10% of our total audience is offended, and that kind of thing, then it's appropriate to make a statement. What I saw in the story was a couple of comments on Twitter. A couple of comments on Twitter does not obligate you to create an apology as if you killed somebody or as if that like I said, there was a fire and multiple people died and that kind of thing. The apology was way too strong, and honestly, I don't think I would have even jumped into action on this unless there was anything to say, So that's why I would say I would put it in. I mean, I would definitely put it in losing because it's probably not the publicity that you definitely want. But I'm not completely sure that it's like it was a terrible idea and terrible billboard. Let's talk about kind of winning and losing both together. Samsung launched its Galaxy S8, and Samsung, boy, if there's a brand that is just more, just beat up over, and rightfully so, like I said, for all of the product safety issues for its Note 7 line and everything. But, the day before the Galaxy S8 announcement for Samsung, a store in Singapore that was carrying the new product caught on fire. And I've done, it's not funny, but anything that mentions fire must just freak Samsung out, right? I mean, they didn't even say that the new product or anything was, it just stores catch on fire, right? Nobody was hurt and that kind of thing. But I thought that story was particularly funny. Apparently the Galaxy S8, let's put in winning because Samsung needs a win for God's sake. And please, hopefully you solved your battery issues with the whole, problems that you've caused for so many consumers. For such a long time. So, in the winning category, the global guitar market is continuing to grow thanks to more acoustic models and thanks to YouTube. Actually, a research firm called Technavio released a report that says the increased availability of free web-based tutorials and the rising number of independent musicians and the growing number of acoustic guitars are major factors in fueling the growth of the guitar market over the next 5 years. They say by 2021, it'll be at $4.14 billion globally, which is just pretty good, steady growth for the guitar market. There are hundreds and hundreds of brands of guitars out there, obviously. But I thought it was interesting that the thing that's interesting about the story to me is the fact that, music stores have offered lessons forever. There's private teachers, everywhere. There's music, you can get guitar lessons at almost any music store. But because of YouTube why I put this into the category of this is how people learn now. Right. And we know this because we all watch YouTube videos before we do anything. I had to install a garbage disposal in my house. How'd you learn how to do it, Scott? Well, it sure as hell wasn't the manual. I watched a bunch of people do it with YouTube and watched theirs leak and said, okay, so you can't do that because that's how that leaks and that's how this is supposed to go and that kind of thing. And we learn stuff by watching other people on YouTube. Right. So it's not a big surprise to me that the boom of all the YouTube channels and things going on. There's so many different resources to teach people how to play the guitar, and I think it's a good thing. I think it's a great thing. Anybody that plays music is going to encourage anybody else to pick it up. It's a great thing to do. It's something that you definitely want to do. It relieves stress. It cures a bunch of medical conditions like no pharmaceutical can. I mean, it's pretty amazing thing to bring into your life, if you have the chance. So I definitely put that in winning for the industry and winning for all the people doing it. Email is winning this week. Got a very nice column from Walter Mossberg, who's a commentator for The Verge, and he runs Recode. He's the editor at large of Recode, and he talked about email. And how email is still, even though people have predicted the death of email. I saw a recent study for about media outlets, and they said the number one way that reporters like to get pitched by PR people is email. And a lot of people in the profession would have you believe that it's social media, or that it's Twitter, or that it's text message, or that it's certainly calling them. And those things just, they interviewed like 2,500 journalists, and journalists said, no, we email is still the way to pitch us. And if I sort of look at my business, I mean, it really it's dominated by email. A lot of text messaging, sort of, if it's between clients and that kind of stuff. I do see that email being replaced by a lot of more direct messaging, but certainly on in terms of pitching reporters, I can definitely see that email is still the way to go. But Walt writes this whole big thing about email, and like I said, basically the takeaway is that it's not dead, and it's not really expected to disappear anytime soon. It's going to be around for a good long time, and it's not going to be replaced by some of these other technologies very quickly, if at all. One more quick one in losing. United Airlines got pulled into a controversy. You maybe heard about it this weekend. So 2 teenage girls were barred from boarding a flight, and they required one of them to change into a dress after the gate agent decided the leggings they were wearing were inappropriate. This was reported on Twitter by Shannon Watts, a passenger at the airport who was waiting to board a flight to Mexico. And they kicked these people off. Now, what's interesting about this is that it wasn't just a regular passenger. They were flying as a guest of past travelers, a company benefit that allows United employees and their dependents to travel for free on a standby basis. So they're kind of representing the company by the laws of the company, and they're not allowed to wear lycra, spandex leggings, tattered ripped jeans, midriff shirts, flip-flops, or any article of clothing that shows their undergarments, according to the thing here. So, we're going to come back in this next segment. I want to spend a little bit more time on this to show you kind of what United could have done a little bit better. But that's who's winning and losing this week on May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Radio. Come on back. I'm going to give you some tips on how to be smarter, avoid some of the dumb stuff, and we'll finish off this last story. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Entertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in
This is
every
Jackie
Wednesday
Bertoni
at
from
2 p.m.
Jackie's Groove.
Pacific Standard
Come join me
Time
weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, happy Friday. You are back with May the Best Brand Win here in segment 3 of the big show. We are talking about really dumb stuff today. But before we get into kind of how we can all be a little smarter and in our marketing, I wanted to finish off on one of the stories from Winning and Losing. And that was basically that United Airlines had this controversy this week because they had to ask some passengers who were traveling as a guest of an employee of United Airlines not to, or they had to go change clothes because they were wearing Lycra spandex leggings. So basically, and of course, there were lots of, there was a lot of discussion over the weekend on this issue. You may have heard about it, where you are as well. I think there's a couple lessons for every company. First of all, these things are gonna, even though it seems like a small issue that's gonna happen at a, at an airport, and it's gonna. My advice would be it's gonna blossom. It's going to turn into a much bigger thing than you think it's going to be, because somebody's going to tweet it, and then somebody like Chrissy Teigen, is going to, she, she contributed to the discussion, via Twitter by saying, I have flown United before with literally no pants on, just a top and a dress. Next time I will wear only jeans and a scarf. Chrissy Teigen. Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you. That we're all, looking for that opinion, clearly. So, that single tweet amassed like 71,000 likes, which is crazy. But the bottom line here is, and what I think United really could have been a little more empathetic about this situation, right? There's rules. There's definitely rules. But how you enforce those rules sometimes can mean the difference between a brand crisis and sort of looking like, the way United's looking in this, and looking like, some human beings with beating hearts. Basically the initial responses of United on social media were terrible. It basically says, United Airlines shall have the right to refuse passengers if they are not properly clothed via our contract of carriage. Yeah, that's accurate. That's an accurate statement. But this falls firmly in the category of you're completely right and you're still going to lose, right? Being right is not as important as the relationship with your customer, as the brand. What you need to do, if somebody just quotes you back the company rules, they're not hearing you. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that they know that you've heard them. You've heard the people that are on the opposition side of this or whatever. Hey, we hear you. You want to look back into those brand personality, notebooks and things like that your way too expensive brand company created for you, and this is where you want to use them. All the things that they use to craft your advertising and your public relations stuff, all that company culture stuff. This is where it becomes useful. This is becoming really useful because you say, this is the personality we should have. And I guarantee you, nowhere in those documents does it say, we're going to come off as people who are going to quote the rule book back in people's face and go, nah, we're right. You will still lose the game. You will still lose. We're going to put this in losing. Yes, United was right. They have the rules. And especially if people are traveling as a guest, honestly, just to put it back on those people, you're traveling as a guest for free, that kind of thing. just listen to what they have to say. Abide by their rules. You don't have to. You're not paying for your ticket anyway. So just honestly, both sides at fault here. But if you have a situation like that in your business and it comes up, and your lawyer says, "Well, we're completely right, and we should just quote back the rules," no, that's not what you want to do. You're going to look like United looks in this situation, and that's not how you want to look. That's not how you want to look. So, segment 3. Today we've been talking about really dumb stuff, and today we're going in segment 3. I'd like to give you guys some tips. So, segment 3 is all about how to be smart at marketing. Because I do get that a lot. People say, "Well, you always talk about what people are doing wrong, but how can people be smarter?" Great, absolutely. It's sort of by doing the opposite of all that stuff. But let's just dig into it for a second. So, tip number one, messaging first. Messaging first, and everything else second. If I see one thing, all the time, if I see something that's wrong all the time, it's the fact that it's not built on a good message. It's the company doesn't have a strong message, right? And when you don't have a strong message, when you don't have a "you're more powerful than you think" message like Apple does, then you're going to move into the desperation category faster than other people. You don't know who you are, and so you're going to grasp at straws, and you're going to do things like retargeting and paid reviews and telemarketing and things like that. And you're going to think those are a good idea, right? Those are not a good idea. Under no circumstances are those ever a good idea. Ever a good idea. So build your house, your company, on a strong foundation, an emotionally resonating, powerful, get inside their head and dig around kind of place where you can help them kind of get what they want, right? Go listen to the first episode that we did on branding. If you're in the marketing department, you have to be a black belt at this branding stuff. You have to. And it's not just about, the logo and the identity and the the tactics and those kind of things. It's about, who are we? Why are we here? What purpose is it that we serve? And when you have a strong foundation, a strong messaging foundation that you've created, you won't need to do any of these dumb things in your marketing. You really won't need to. The reason that other people need to is because their marketing is terrible. It is terrible at the most core level. They have no message. They have commodity products. They are not, fulfilling a need in the marketplace, and so they're dealing with that whole situation by desperately selling to people, through all these other tactics. But you're better than that. Be better than that. You absolutely can be. It just takes a little more work on the messaging side. Put that work in there. That's where I look at things every week that people send me and say, Scott, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? It's always the message. The message can always go deeper, can always be researched more, can always be figured out more as to kind of what is our message. Why do we exist? That kind of thing. Apple has a strong, idea about why it exists, right? That was created by, Steve Jobs and still permeates the culture there. Do that. Do what they do. Tip number 2, always think of the audience first. Always put their needs above your own. This is done so infrequently. I can't even begin to tell you. And I talk a lot about the importance of empathy in marketing. You must be able to channel yourself and think about the audience. In every tactic in your marketing mix, you need to close your eyes and go, if I was receiving this, how do I feel about the brand? If this was a tactic that was happening to me, how would I feel? If you're not the target audience, great. Try to project yourself into them, those marketing personas and all that, fun stuff that we've talked about. Try to be one of those marketing personas, and now imagine yourself receiving this onslaught of stuff from this company. How do you feel about the brand? Imagine yourself, with ads that are following you all around. Imagine you found out that this company, had to pay 20 people to write positive reviews, but the actual, check this out, but the actual experience with the product, was very negative. And, you have to find that out like much later. It's like it's like a bad movie or something. So, or you're going about your day and you get a phone call that interrupts you, which annoys us anyway. That's why nobody answers their landline. That's why so few people have a landline. Thank you, marketing communications. We appreciate your contribution to our world. Think about the audience. Don't you ever put your company's needs above theirs. The way that you get what you want is you give them what they want, right? There are so few people who do what I do for a living that understand that statement right there. The way to get what you want is to give them what they want. And then people say, well, I'm not sure what they want. Then you shouldn't be talking to them. Then you should not be talking. You definitely shouldn't be. Very important. Empathy, empathy, empathy. Can't have too much of it. Always think about the audience. Number 3. Be a long-term mindset kind of company. A lot of these things we're talking about, retargeting, paid reviews, telemarketing, that's all so we can close sales this month. We're all about this month. We're short-term. Be long-term. Say this. We're so confident that we have the solution for you. Actually, I hate the word solution, but let's just say we're so confident that we have the athletic shoes for you that we know you're going to do the right thing. We know that you want these. We know that you want to look cool. We know that you want to, we know what color that you want. We know all this stuff. But we're just going to hang back, because we're confident in your ability as the consumer to make an informed decision, on your clock, your timing. We'll be here. There might be a line of people that you're going to have to wait through. But that, honestly, what can we say? We're popular, Bottom line is, we're here for the long term. And whenever it is you decide that you want to, pick up these athletic shoes that are going to completely improve your life and help you get everything that you want and fulfill all your dreams, we'll be here to help fulfill those dreams. And if you decide not to, well, that's between you and your own psyche, I guess. You guys can battle it out and figure it out and let us know when you're ready. Long term. Don't be needy. Don't be desperate. Think about the long game for your business. Always. When it comes to branding, you want to be one of those long-term brands. You want to be comfortable, extremely comfortable, saying, we know that we know we have the right solution for our customers, and we know that they're going to do the right thing. Right? Very, very, very important. If you have a long-term mindset, when somebody raises their hand and goes, I think we should do some retargeting, then you can draw on the board and go, we're a long-term mindset company. And we're afraid about the 90% of people that you're going to piss off. And we think that there is a percentage of people that we could win over as customers and make this tiny little sales increase that you're talking about with this retargeting. We can make that look stupid over time, because the other 90% that you have ticked off and pushed away, we want those people. That's who we want. We don't want anyone to have a bad experience with our brand, and we certainly don't want our marketing to be that bad experience. So, long-term mindset. Number 4, always remember, how you market is a reflection on you. Every tactic that you put, every arrow that you put in the quiver is a reflection back to your brand. I get 15 or 16 emails from companies saying, we can increase the sales of Robertson.com by all you have to do is just give us access to your LinkedIn contacts, and we'll contact them and we'll set up appointments, and you don't have to do anything, and we'll just have all these ready-made appointments, and it's going to be like rainbows and butterflies, and it's just going to be a magical world, right? It's going to be great. And I say, I would not do that, because it reflects poorly on me. It reflects poorly on me as a business person, and it reflects poorly on my company's brand. My company's brand is literally better than that. So we don't do things like that. We attract people. We educate people. We do a podcast where we inform people and give people answers and hopefully some entertainment and some things like that. We do blog posts that also kind of educate the world. I go out and I speak a lot, at various events, and I do that free of charge. And I do that because if you can, then you should. That's why I do it. And, we do all those things because then it positions us in a place that is much better. How you market, the choices that you make to market to people reflects back on you. They are not two separate things that you can disconnect and go, United Airlines, perfect example from today, fly the friendly skies. We're so personable and we're so great. We're this great airline, but we have a heart and we're human and we're all these kind of things. And then your Twitter feed says UA reserves the right to say what, passengers can wear at any time. And we're completely right. And blah, 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 nah, that kind of thing. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth. You need to figure out who the hell you are, and you need to figure out that, your marketing is reflecting poorly on you. Don't let that happen. We spend a lot of time fixing these brands, and branding people. I know you're out there. The branding people of the world. We always have to be the cops. We always have to go put out the fires and say, wait a minute, this is not how we do this. Why are we doing this? What's going on? What's happening here? Everybody needs to be on the same page as it comes to the brand. The reason for that is everybody needs to be thinking about with their customer service hat on, about how our marketing tactics, how our behavior, how everything in branding, everything counts. Everything counts. Tip number 5, evolve. Marketing is not a finished art or science. It is in motion. So make sure, if you want to be smart at marketing, make sure you're evolving. Make sure that you are staying close to the latest trends, the latest tactics, the latest things that get done, which you want to get done, which is to build long-term relationships that are going to be profitable for the organization that you work for not just now, not just this quarter, not just this month, but for a long time to come. Marketing can be great, and it can also be aggravating, nauseating, annoying, all those kind of things. It's your choice. It's our choice. And the choice begins with what type of company you want to be. We need many more of us on the side of powerful messaging delivered with a lot of respect for the audience that gets them closer to what they really want. Marketing talks so much. My God, it's just an endless talking extravaganza. But the most powerful thing you have in communications is listening. We're given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listening makes you a better communicator. You don't always have to talk. We need to be better listeners. And once in a while, in order to listen, we need to shut up. Most importantly, we need to commit to improving the marketing profession together so that it continue to exist in the future. I have a lot of faith and a lot of hope that we can do exactly that. And that's it for me, marketing fans. Until next week, this has been Scott Robertson, host of May the Best Brand Win on Entertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Entertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?